Hello, good evening. How is everyone tonight? Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Sorry, I have a bit of a funny voice. I think it's important to say on behalf of everyone here, all the parents, all families and parents, relatives, just a really big thank you to everyone here at the British School. Thank you to the people who set up the school all those years ago, the Loy's family. And thank you to Mr. Berry, Mr. Jacob, who are leading us here tonight, and thank you to everyone who's organised this event. And many people I'm sure that I've forgotten to thank, but thank you anyway. And then there's something that I'm very, very touched about, was that Mr. Jacob called me up and he asked me if I would be a guest speaker. And then he said to me, what is it that you think you would talk about? And I said, it's probably better if we start with what I shouldn't talk about, because I'll embarrass my old family. So, I do really want to say it's a real honour and a privilege to come here. And I'm delighted to be here just for one night only, and to talk to you a little bit about, there's so many things that we could talk about, so many things that you've achieved, so many things that you will go on and achieve. Change the next screen. So we're going to look at just a couple of things. Prosperity and also perseverance. These are two things that I think are very important, and they were touched upon a little bit by Mr. Jacob. And I'm sure they are also with you guys. So, what is prosperity? Oh, that wasn't meant to be there. Sorry. So, is prosperity wearing expensive clothing? Wonderful sunglasses? Having a very nice Hyundai? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I think it's important to think about. Probably we all think here that being prosperous is to have wealth, to have money, to maybe have nice clothes and nice phone. But it also it has its own definition, that from the Latin it means to be favourable, to be favoured. And I think that's really a much more important way of looking at the word prosperous. Is it necessarily money? Is it what it is that you have? Is it actually receiving? I would put in the minds tonight to take away with you a little bit based on the work that I have done as well, just to take away with you that you will have a huge amount of prosperity within you when you serve others. That to me has been something that I learned late in life. I spent many, many years, about 30 years in the corporate world, and many of you will go into corporate life, but my advice and suggestion will be that, like me, don't leave it too late. Don't try and make your fortune before you go out and help others and build up NGOs and organizations. Do it now. A lot of you are already. Don't wait until you have the money to be able to do it. Just go ahead and do it. And just maybe not spend so much on expensive cars. I have found, since doing this work and giving back to others, I have felt that my inner peace has been nothing like I've ever experienced in the years of writing reports that nobody ever read, providing sales forecasts for people who weren't really interested. When you give back, you receive so much more, and that's something I'm sure all of you are learning with some of the projects that you're involved with service learning, and with things that you must do with your family. But if you remember anything other than the video from Mr. Jacob, try and remember to think about the prosperity of others, and then perseverance. So, perseverance. We could define that as being something that is also, I think, very important. Something maybe you don't necessarily learn about at school, but you learn along the way as part of that journey that Mr. Jacob was just talking about. What we can say perseverance is, a definition is that it's a continued, regular effort to do or to achieve something despite difficulties. As we referred to just now, there were many difficulties that you have had throughout this time that you've been studying. Many long, long hours any arguments because you want to go out with your friends. But you've persevered, you've got to here, you've got to where you are now, and you've got to the next stage of your lives where you'll be setting out, maybe to new countries, maybe you'll be going to university here, maybe you'll be starting in a family business, maybe you'll be going to a college here. Whatever it is that you might be doing, always maintain perseverance in what you do, no matter what. I've had to deal with quite a lot of sickness this year, but it's been just very important to me to try and set up as well. If you're not capable to do things yourself, when you have teams of people that are working with you, use those teams, rely on their skills, and just go right through. And if you think about it, the many people who have made a difference in this life, who maybe have had to persevere a little bit extra than all of us. Maybe they've been born with health problems like Professor Hawking. Look what he achieved in his life, how amazing he was prior to his death. Albert Einstein, somebody who couldn't read till he was 7 years of age, still hope for pen. So, Steven Spielberg, for instance, he was rejected from many of his initial works that he did. He was kicked out of college. All these things were against us. All people have things against you. But persevere and maintain perseverance in the forefront of your mind, and think about prosperity and really what it means to you. Anyway, you all read that, the other definition. So, guys, you're just starting. Go change the world, do things for others as well as for yourself.